You typically don't have to homeschool for very long before you come to the wonderful realization that you have complete control over your schedule. It's one of the best things about homeschooling, and it's what we're going to be talking about today. Hi everyone, I'm Pam Barnhill, and I have helped thousands of homeschoolers beat burnout, create doable systems, and bring more joy to their homeschool days. Welcome to my channel. Okay, so let's talk about this whole scheduling thing. And the question we're really tackling today is, should you take a break off for summer? Because as a homeschooler, you have complete control over this. Some people like to take the traditional long summer break, which in America can be, anywhere from 8 to 12 weeks long. And then other people are like, no, we're going to keep pushing through and we're not going to take a break in our homeschool. And honestly, neither answer is right or wrong, but there are some important considerations to think about when you're considering, do we want to take a break or not? And so I have 5 things for you to think about right now. So the first one is the summer slide. And what I'm talking about here is kids losing academic gains that they've made through the year over the summer. So maybe you're working really hard on some math concepts or learning to read. You take a number of weeks off for the summer, and when you come back in the fall, what you realize is that your kids have lost some of those gains they've made. That's called the summer slide. It happens to kids who go to traditional school, and it can happen to homeschoolers as well. So here's what I've found. I've found that as kids get older, this problem becomes less and less. But if you have a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old who is learning how to read and they're really working hard on the phonics, or maybe they're studying some concepts in math, it might be a good idea not to take that time off, especially when you have younger kids and those lessons can be very short, 10-minute lessons each day. You can just do some very short lessons in some of those basic skills and not struggle with that summer slide and kind of keep the momentum of learning going. So this is a place where maybe we take some time off, maybe we don't, or maybe we meet halfway in between and we just do reading lessons for 10 minutes a day or math lessons for 10 minutes a day, but not a full day of school. But it's definitely one thing to consider. Okay, the second thing you might want to consider when you think about, are we going to take a summer break, is what activities are available to your kids in the summer that they would miss out on by continuing with their homeschooling. So what I mean by this is like vacation Bible school. That was one my kids always did. My kids have gone to camp during summer for a long time. And so those are activities that my kids would not have had the opportunity to do. Even like karate camp and music camp and just acting camp, like day camps that happen in our area that aren't available at other times of year. And if I'm trying to maintain a homeschooling schedule in the summer, then my kids are going to miss out on those opportunities. And so that's another very important thing to consider. Are there so many activities that it really doesn't make sense for you to continue doing homeschooling because you want your kids to have a chance to participate in that? Now, the third thing you might want to consider is your community. And what I mean by that are the people who are around you. So if maybe your kids have a lot of cousins that they hang out with, or maybe there are just a lot of kids in your neighborhood and they all have the summer off, that might make you think, you know what, we may want to take the summer off too. And that's completely okay. You want to build those relationships. You want to give your kids time to play with those other kids. You don't want to have to keep telling kids to stop knocking at your door that your child can't play. So sometimes that can really have a big factor into whether or not you take time off in the summer. It's like what your community is like, and are there opportunities for your kids to really play with other kids during the summer months? So the fourth thing is the weather. And what I mean by this is kind of like your general overall climate in the summer. I never understood this until a few years ago. So we have always started back to school like the second week of July. Well, we did when my kids were younger. Now that my kids were older, we do tend to take a longer summer. The activities have just gotten more and more. They work in the summer. So we typically take a more traditional summer path these days. But when they were little, we typically started back to school the after the first week of July. And people would say to me, Pam, why do you start back to school so early? And I would be like, it's too hot to do anything else. Like, we could get up in the morning and go swimming and do school in the afternoon, or get up and do school and then in the late afternoon go swimming again. But really, that middle part of the day is just too hot and miserable where we live to really do anything outside. So we might as well do school. So when the weather gets nice in October and April, we could spend more time outside then. We could take some of those weeks off and have maybe 2 spring breaks or an extended fall break, right? But other parts of the country, like July is perfect summer weather for you. The weather is lovely. It's amazing. And you just like, there's no reason in the world why you would want to give up your summer. And so I really do think that whether or not you school through the summer has a lot to do with what the weather is like where you live. And so if you live in a hot climate like me, take advantage of the fact that you can school in the summer and take breaks at other times. And if you live in a much colder climate like the northern part of the United States, then take advantage of those beautiful, wonderful summers that you're having and go play and then do school during the traditional school year. And finally, the 5th thing to consider as to whether or not you'll be taking a break in the summer is, do you really need a break? I mean, there is something to be said for days when you can get up and not have the responsibility of homeschooling hanging over your head for a while. And this is just a really great way to just unplug and unwind and take a full break. You can use that break to just rest and relax. You can use it to sit by the pool. You can use it to play and have fun with your kids. But you can also use that break to catch up on some house cleaning or do some decluttering or get some freezer meals done for the start of school or plan your homeschool year. All of those things are good ways to use that break. Set yourself up for success for the school year and just let go of all of the weight of homeschooling for just a few weeks. And so it is perfectly okay to say, you know what? We are taking time off. So there you have it, 5 different things to consider before you consider whether or not to take an extended summer break. And remember, you can get the best of both worlds. You could say, we're going to break for 2 weeks, we're going to break for 3 weeks, we're going to break for 10 weeks. You get to set up your schedule exactly how you want to set it up for your school year. And so don't hesitate to lean in and do what works for your family. Now, if you would like more help with setting up your homeschool schedule and all aspects of homeschool planning, come and join us at Put Your Homeschool Year on Autopilot. That is our premier planning course. We have helped over 3,500 families plan their homeschool year, set themselves up for success, and truly have an autopilot plan that will work for them. Find that at the link below. And hey, if you're taking a break this summer, have a good one.